Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Summit Overwatch Cup. We are already into the action. My name is Ask Joshy. I'm casting today with Jet Set Jamerson, or just Jamerson for short. And we're already in the map draft. But how are you doing today, Jamerson?
Yeah, good morning, Josh. Well, I say good morning on the West Coast, but already we see EnvyUs taking out Route 66 on the side of One Shot. They're going to go ahead and get rid of Watchpoint Gibraltar. So interesting map bans already.
Yeah, we're already, just to start us off, we're doing a match between EnvyUs and One Shot. This is the winner's bracket in a double elim event. We're going to be banning maps down until the final three, I believe it is, for this round. And essentially, the order of the remaining maps at the end is the order that will play the game. So the very last map remaining will be game number 1. The one before that will be game number 2, and so on. You can see the double cap maps or Assault being banned out slowly over the course of this. Temple of Anubis, Volskaya, and Hanamura all going away here. It's up to basically both teams to ban those out if they don't want to play them. Otherwise, you could end up surprise Volskaya at the end of a series. But we are down now to just the payload maps, and Lijiang Tower is the last King of the Hill possibility. Now with Numbani and Nepal gone, it looks like those hybrid maps are being favored by both EnvyUs and One Shot. Hollywood and Kings Row are hybrid, Dorado full payload, and Lijiang Tower, of course, is King of the Hill. So I know that I personally would never want to face EnvyUs on a King of the Hill because their offensive players are just so dominant that that's one of the scariest prospects I can imagine.
Yeah, Tailspin has just been on a tear recently in competitive. His Pharah has been fantastic. I just found it a little odd that One Shot would be the ones to ban out Hanamura and Temple of Anubis. I imagine they might have wanted to leave that up for EnvyUs to ban out. One Shot, though, looks like we are going to be going on to Kings Row for our first map.
Surprise, surprise. Kings Row is the map that most teams are going to be familiar with if you're coming over from other games. I know Beyond the Summit, this is their first time kind of dabbling in Overwatch. We've got a lot of Overwatch fans already in the chat, but if you are newer to the game, Kings Row is essentially the oldest payload map that exists. It's been actually more or less untouched throughout alpha, beta, and now release, as no changes have really been made to it. So sometimes we'll refer to it as El Clasico. It's kind of the Dust 2 of Overwatch, where everyone is comfortable on it. You see it as the first map in BO3 series very, very often. So right now we're just determining whether One Shot or EnvyUs will be attacking first. It doesn't matter too much over the course of an entire game, as we will be flipping sides. Both teams will be able to attack and then defend, obviously. And the faster team to complete the map, or the team that gets the furthest throughout the checkpoints in the map, will be declared the winner of game number 1, and we'll move on to game number 2, and so on and so forth. There are other modes. For example, Lijiang Tower, we may see during this series, is a King of the Hill style map. There's no payload involved. There's no attacking or defending. It literally is just kind of a free-for-all where both teams fight over a single point. But Kings Row is going to get us started, and we are already entering the game.
Yeah, so it looks like it is going to be EnvyUs that, or no, I'm sorry, One Shot that will be starting off on the offense here on Kings Row. So this is one hero limit, and it'd be interesting to see what kind of picks we're going to be seeing. Ultimate Weapon hovering over that Pharah right now, which he has had great success on in the past few weeks.
Yeah, I'll just go through kind of the defense here, just to explain it again. Essentially, right now, they've got about 10, 15 seconds to just pick heroes, show the rest of their teammates who they're selecting so that they don't double up on any single characters or anything like that. These pro teams, of course, have played together so many times. They know their established roles. For example, on the defense right now, you've got Tailspin on Junkrat. That's a character that he always plays here on Kings Row defense, point A. Internet, Hulk, and Coco sometimes switch off on the Torbjorn, and who's going to be tanking or who's going to be playing Torb. Taimu is actually normally a very offensive-oriented player, but for some reason, Kings Row defense, point A, he always plays that Roadhog, Harry Hook with the Soldier 76. Chips almost always going to be found on Mercy. So interesting fact here is that they've only got one support on defense. Normally, you would see 2, potentially even 3 if Symmetric comes out, but they're opting to go with a higher damage output composition this time around rather than a sustain composition, because they feel that the attacking team is probably going to go balls to the wall offense coming in here, and they need to be able to match that damage.
Yeah, the DPS is going to be very important here, as we do see a lot of teams do just kind of run over the defense here on Kings Row. So we'll see. We are going to be moving on to the attacking side. We do see they are pushing up on the left side right now.
Yeah, they're coming around the side just to basically provide cover. They don't want to provide any free sight lines to the defense here. We are starting to engage now. You can see the Reinhardts opposing each other with their shields up, keeping the rest of their teammates safe behind those 2,000 HP shields. Slowly, they will break down over time. It looks like defense is looking pretty sturdy right now. You've got Ultima Web up in the air attacking for one shot, just launching long-range rockets. There's no damage fall off. He can stay as far back as he wants and just continue firing down toward that turret, continue firing down toward the Reinhardt shield just to break it up slowly. Chronic now losing his shield on the offensive. Reinhardt gonna have to be careful, and looks like he's actually gonna try to loop around. Defense so far scoring all the kills. One shot unable to get in there.
Yeah, Tailspin's going to be the one that does strike first blood on the side of EnvyUs, and it looks like the offense are having a little difficult time trying to make it through the chokehold right here, making around that bend across the stack.
Yeah, so far, offense just really hasn't had any mobility. They've got a very ground-based squad with the 3 tanks. Chronic, Rolf, and Exi are playing Reinhardt, Roadhog, and Zarya, respectively. Dot was on Hanzo for a little while, actually got taken out by Torbjorn. That's got to feel a little bit bad for him. Ultima Web on that Pharah, though, is going to be the bulk of their damage, and he essentially just hasn't been able to find any picks. There's no one kind of off on their own on EnvyUs. Harry Hook is actually the furthest out as that soldier, but of course with Sprint and Biotic Field, he's able to take care of himself. He can return to his team. There he does just leap away immediately. Chronic and the team looping around the right side now, actually heading into the apartment, trying to do a full flank of the point right now. McCree actually going to go off on his own toward the back line while the rest of the team tries to basically fight down Internet Hulk and Taimu. Molten Core was used by Internet Hulk just to buy them some time, try and get some kills. Dot actually falls as the McCree, so again, one shot out of sorts and out of position, probably slowly going to fall here. Just 4 of them still standing, now only 3.
Yeah, and slowly the offense are getting picked apart. It was Tailspin who was able to get Dot, who was trying to make his way onto the back line, and right now they're just catching out all the stragglers, and now that is huge. That's going to straggle. Catching the stragglers out, that's going to go ahead and push back the spawns. And so now with only a minute 44 seconds left on the clock, One Shot are having such a difficult time trying to break this defense coming out from EnvyUs right now.
Yeah, I'm watching Dot first person right now as he did switch off of Hanzo onto Widowmaker, just looking for those headshots, looking for squishy characters, not being guarded by Reinhardt's shield. Roadhog, of course, doesn't have a barrier, so you can always take some free shots at him if there's nothing else really to shoot at. Harry Hook doing a good job just staying hidden, realizes that Widow's there. Tailspin actually scooping most of the kills here for EnvyUs. I see him up in the kill feed constantly as these tanks try to get past him. It's just bomb traps and constant Junkrat spam, basically just wearing them down. Taimu gets an easy kill there onto Psycho Waffle, and One Shot has to reset once again. Dot not finding the picks that he needs on Widow, and One Shot still just trying to break through here with 1 minute left.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for One Shot. They were finally able to take out that Torbjorn turret, but having that much focus on the turret, you know, EnvyUs was able to just clean up the offense, but now they finally get a pick. It's going to be Harry Hook who goes down. That's Rolf that actually picks them up. So now it's a 5v6, and they are pushing on, and they continue to push forward, and now it's 4v6 as they are pushing onto the site. There we go. The res does come out, as we do see. There we go, the Wombo coming out. It's going to be Ultimate Weapon picking up 2 kills, and now it looks like the offense have finally broken it, but the res does come out on the side of One Shot.
Yeah, I was watching Dot kind of throughout that whole encounter, just seeing what he was focusing on, who he was trying to pick off. The healers, after they fell, it was all about that Junkrat trying to take him out. Tailspin actually one of the last members of the defense to die, but they are securing 2 ticks now on point A. It looks like they should easily get this 3rd tick before the defense can get back into place. They are actually just resigning the point, letting them take A there, and setting up for the next encounter, which is going to take place in the Kings Row streets. You can see Winston actually being switched on to here by Internet Hulk rather than the Torbjorn. That's going to allow him to get in their faces, drop that 600 health Winston bubble that you'll see constantly, and just try to pick off Psycho Waffle and Dot. Basically, the Sniper and the Mercy are 2 great targets for Winston to try to jump on. I do want to explain one hero limit just a little bit further, as some people in the chat did seem a little bit confused. Players are allowed to switch whenever they want. They just cannot have 2 of the same character at any one time. The custom game rules actually disallow it. So if Dot, for example, died and tried to switch to a second Lucio for the offense, he would not be able to actually select Lucio. He'd have to pick something else. That's all that means. They can switch whenever they want.
So right now we do see the offense 2 minutes 15 seconds left on the clock. They're trying to make it through this choke point right now, but take a look at this really aggressive standing coming out from the side of EnvyUs as they push in, but Whole Hog is going to come out, and that's going to go ahead and disengage as the defense do start pushing forward now.
Chronic very brave there, just getting up in the face of Coco, popping his shield down. He knew that that shield was about to break apart, so he just ran up in the face of that Taimu whole hog ultimate. You can see offense actually doing okay here. The res coming out for the side of the defense is actually going to swing the tide of this pretty drastically. Chronic still off on his own, not able to get a lot of damage out as Reinhardt Reaper there, Dot actually using his Wraith Walk to try to escape, does fall inside the bookstore there. Tailspin onto his Pharah now rather than Junkrat, showing us exactly what he's capable of. There's a great barrage directly down onto Chronic's head. The counter barrage coming in actually from the offense. Ultimate Web does score the kill on Tailspin, but ultimately it looks like EnvyUs is going to be in control of this payload. They get another res, Chipsogen, with 2 reses during that 1 minute fight basically, and only a minute left now for One Shot to try and go the rest of the way through the Kings Row streets. Looking pretty grim for them.
Tailspin is doing such an amazing job on this Pharah right now. In the Pharah v Pharah, in the aerial battles against Ultimate Web, he's going to go ahead and force him to switch off onto Soldier 76 to try and counter this. But right now, it might be a little too late, as there's only 50 seconds left on the clock, and they've made very little headway with this payload.
Okay, here comes the Graviton Surge and the Earth Shatter, both coming out one side each. XE actually falls right after the Graviton Surge came out, so offense did not have a ton of work available. Dot was not in place just yet. There's the Death Blossom that we were looking for. Another res comes out, this time for the offense. Dot actually scoring 4 kills there with that Death Blossom. It looked a little bit awkward because Coco and Internet Hulk were both right there with their barriers, but Dot able to just basically use the mobility from Rolf's speed boost on Lucio to get that Death Blossom into the juicy center of Envy's defense. And suddenly they've only got 12 seconds left. This is actually not as good as it looks for them. Envy will be able to return to the fight here and contest, as this checkpoint is still pretty far away. Now they are already in place. Coco and Taimu looking for their first picks potentially as Envy rushes back to the cart.
Okay, Dot did a great job of actually trying to proxy back there. He did finally fall, and the payload is about to make it on as we do see the barrage coming out. Tailspin finding the first kill onto Ultimate Web. That's the DPS down right now. Psycho Waffle does not have the res up, and there we go. That's going to be EnvyUs holding it down, not allowing One Shot to actually push the payload up to the first checkpoint.
All right, so what that means for our scoring, you can see that distance marked of 111 meters. Essentially, there's going to be a spot marked on the ground. EnvyUs will just have to capture A and push the payload past that spot to win this first map. If they cannot, One Shot will be victorious moving into game number 2. This is a best of 3 series here in the winner's bracket, round 1. EnvyUs is basically the #1 seed in the world right now. So One Shot, you know, having a difficult draw here just to start the tournament off. Just to give you some perspective, EnvyUs have lost only something like 3 or 4 maps in the last month and 0 matches. So they've won every tournament that they've entered in recent history. I think their last shutdown was actually at the hands of Reunited in a cross-server match about a month and a half ago. So EnvyUs, if you guys are unfamiliar with Overwatch, they're definitely the top dogs right now, not just in North America, but worldwide. So definitely give One Shot props just for taking A, because that does not happen every game.
Yeah, with one hero limit really being EnvyUs' bread and butter, so to speak, they have been doing an amazing job, you know, shutting down teams like Cloud9, of all people. So right now we will see what they can do on their offensive side. Tailspin is already on that Pharah. We do see Taimo hovering over this Hanzo right now. We'll see if he can get an early pick to open up the defense. On Internet Hulk, it's going to be that Zarya. Harry Hook will be playing another DPS. He's got that Soldier 76 lockdown. Coco is, of course, on that Reinhardt, and Chipsogen doing a fantastic job on this Mercy so far.
Psycho Waffle making fun of his teammate, apparently spilling coffee on himself. Poor XE. Tried to drink and missed my mouth. All gamers know that plight when you're trying to play and drink at the same time. Anyway, Tailspin moving in as Pharah already up over the wall. Coco and Internet Hulk coming in as the tank squad here for EnvyUs. They are only going with a 2-tank setup rather than the 3 that we saw out of One Shot. No Roadhog on either side actually currently, which is a little bit surprising as he has really come into the meta lately. Chronic trying to battle away Coco in that Reinhardt battle. Just to remind you guys, the red team is not the attacking team in this case. In competitive mode, the teams keep their color throughout the entire match. So One Shot continues to be red. EnvyUs will continue to be blue, even though they are the attacking team. And they are already standing on the point, only a minute and actually only 40 seconds into this match. They've already secured the first tick here. Lots of those kills were credited to Taimu, actually, on that Hanzo, who's basically untouched, just lobbing arrow after arrow into that defensive setup of One Shot. And they've already captured point A.
Yeah, unfortunately for one shot there, they were very scattered. We saw Ultimate Weapon on that Reaper was caught out in the back stairs, and immediately the defense just crumbled. So now we are onto the street stage, as we do see right now. One shot have to mount a good defense here because they have to make sure that they don't push it back the 111-meter mark.
Yeah, now it's all about this distance. So the more that One Shot can contest over the next 5.5 minutes, the better it's going to serve them. It is, of course, a consideration with spawn areas. You don't want to rush up in the face of the offense too hard, because if you do kill them, it's a shorter walk back. But here we have the engagement. Tactical Visor coming out from Dot. That's a Soldier 76. Aimbot Ultimate, unable to really find too much with it, but the rest of the team is cleaning up easily. Dot does find Tailspin in the air there. That's going to be a good pickup. Chips as the last person standing for Envy. Just a Mercy, not going to be able to do anything herself, so just leaps down to die to rejoin the team quicker. That is a tactic that you'll see sometimes. You'll be like, why did that guy just suicide? Honestly, it's just to get back to the match faster. You can see Hanzo launched his ult there because he wanted to switch, but he actually ended the dragon just a little bit too soon. It didn't actually reach One Shot, unfortunately, but he does switch now, and you can see him playing Reaper now.
Yeah, but he immediately got picked off by Ultimate Web, as we do see the engage going out. That's going to be Earth Shatters coming out from both sides right now. Chronic pushing forward. He is on top of Internet Hulk right now. We do hear Res coming out, and it looks like it was on the side of One Shot, and they are pushing back the offense for the time being.
Yeah, Coco is the only person left on Envy there. He does fall. He was right next to the payload, as he should have been as Reinhardt, but unfortunately there was a lot of one-shot players in between him and his rest of his team, so he does fall pretty quickly there. We do have Taimu on Reaper now. As I said, he is actually lying in wait up in the apartments for his team to get into position. That makes me think he is looking to try to get some picks in the back line. Actually, no, it looks like he's going to move around back with the team. They see that the payload is unguarded, so they are going to go ahead and move in here. Fire at will. Graviton Surge out for the side of the offense. You can see Tailspin with the barrage dropping it into that point. Ultimate Weapon on defense actually catching Taimu. His Reaper goes down, and Tailspin up above the point now, trying to duel it out with Dot. Gets the kill on Dot and gets rezzed immediately by Chips. There's an Earth Shatter from Chronic catching several members of the attacking team. Tailspin trying to stay alive here, uses the Concussive Blast to bounce himself off the wall. Might be able to stay alive. Yes, Chronic tries to go for the kill. It does fall to Coco.
Yeah, great offense coming out from EnvyUs right now, and we do see Tailspin trying to proxy, trying to push them back, and that's going to be Taimu picking up that first kill onto Exy, as Tailspin finds another one onto Psycho Waffle. Now, the defense have to get in and have to contest, because the payload is pushing ever so closer to this final point.
All right, they're right there on the cusp of victory. All they have to do is push that final space. You can see the outline marked on the ground there. There's a defensive sound barrier, offensive sound barrier, excuse me. The blue team actually gaining 500 extra HP for everyone that was in range of Lucio during his ult. You can see Coco swatting down Chronic. Psycho Waffle has switched onto Tracer now to try to continue to contest this. They have to do it for 3 full minutes though, and that's just not going to happen. EnvyUs coasts right in, and they are going to take game number 1.
Yeah, unfortunately, One Shot, they were doing a great job initially on the defense of holding on to their ultis and trying to find the right engages, but at some point, Tailspin and Taimu just started going off, especially Taimu on that Reaper, finding the crucial picks. We do see Dot playing this Reaper, is going to be able to pick up the play of the game. Now, we will be moving on to either Lijiang or Dorado for our next map. Remember, this is a best of 3 as we move on through this tournament. The finals for the winners and losers will be a best of 5. Now, the 2 winners of this cup this weekend will be moving on to the final cup, which will be taking place on the first week of August, I believe.
Yep, that is correct. And EnvyUs, not to anyone's vast surprise, basically, does take that first map against One Shot, which is a lower seeded team. Again, just to drive that point home, EnvyUs has not lost a match in recent history. Like, if you've been watching since Overwatch's release, you might not have ever seen EnvyUs actually lose a game. So pretty